All right, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about why we should use Google. A lot of us I know are used to growing up using Microsoft, and Microsoft is a really big program. I know that our district uses it, but I recently switched to using everything Google. Google is all online, it's all web-based, so here's a little bit of an introduction to why. Google is a company I've done a lot of research on. Their mission says to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And then they actually have a mission in education. They have a big Google education program. And it's a long quote there, but it says, "We know that education is the most powerful use of information to improve lives. Our education products, from classroom to Chromebooks, benefit more than 70 million people in 180 countries, yada, yada, yada." So they have a lot of information and data that they can give you, and a lot of cool websites and things. So Google is one of the world's largest multinational technology companies. It's a resource with many different platforms. It's the future of education and the internet. They say on their website that they want to be able to take over education and the way we use education with technology. It started off, their original basis of it was in artificial intelligence. It was created by former students with accessibility in mind. They were both technology students. Based on rules and principles that stick to traditional methods. It's open to new possibilities, and it's catering to education and schools alike each day. Google can foster collaboration and teamwork, empower teachers, give choice to teachers and students. It's user-friendly and it's affordable. Most things that we use on Google are free. Allow many platforms and resources, and provide huge benefits in all areas of education. Schools are going Google, so how can we use it in our schools? We can safely share schedules and messages. Everything has privacy settings on Google. We can collaborate between staff members in the district and within school. We can collaborate on assignments amongst the whole class in real time, so you can collaborate with your students on technology without having to be there with them. You can share assignments, videos, and presentations. We have Google Spreadsheets, so you can do any sort of data on there. You can use apps on all devices within our school. All of our devices are compatible. So your phones, your computers, iPads, laptops, anything is compatible. And it's gonna bridge the gap between school and home. If your child, if you give an assignment through Google, Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Presentations, anything like that, you can watch your students in real time doing it at home. So another really cool thing that you can do. What are the available apps for education? Google for Education is its own little branch of Google. Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Plus, Google Hangouts, Google Photos, and Google Slides are the ones that were built for education. They've also added in Google Classroom. They've added in Google Sites. So these are the ones based for education. I have a lot extra that I use that aren't on here, but this is their own little branch. How should I use Google in my classroom? So these are the ones that I pulled out and showed you guys of what I use and what I want my students to use. I put asterisks next to Google Drive. My kindergarten team and I use Google Drive every single day. We put all of our information on Google Drive. If we have any sort of activity we want to do, we plug it into Google Drive and we share it to each other, and so we can instantly have access to that. Google Extensions, which I will show you in just a minute, it's really cool. Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets, which are the, it coordinates with like Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Microsoft Excel. Google Calendar, which is where you guys can get some events through your email. Google Forms is where you can set out surveys. Google Drawings is where you can go on, you can edit photos, you can edit pictures, you can do anything on Google Drawings. And Google recently actually bought out YouTube, so YouTube is a Google company. For students, I put Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Drawings, Google Earth, Google Maps, Google Search, and YouTube. So there's tons of these. I will send this to you guys so you can see some different links to use. All right, so I'm gonna kind of walk you through a little bit of what I've discovered with Google. So I became a Google ambassador this summer. So I had to take courses on every single Google program, and I was just like completely blown away with how many there are. So when you go to the Google homepage, the number one thing that you want to do is make sure that you're doing Google Chrome. Google Chrome is the most important way to use Google because it's so compatible with everything. So when you get to your Google homepage, you're going to click those buttons up there, and that's going to show you all the Google apps. If you hit more and keep scrolling, Google has all these apps that are available. You don't have to download them on your computer, but they do have individual apps like on your iPads and your phones and things that you do have to download for use, unless you just want to use it on your browser. If you also just go to the homepage, this is what it would look like if you open Chrome. I have a lot of different things already plugged in here. These are my bookmarked websites, but up here in the top, if you hit apps, these are the apps that I use most. So I have them organized on here so I can go ahead and automatically click. And the first thing I want to show you guys a little bit about was extensions. I learned about extensions and I was just blown away because I didn't even know it exists. So when you're on your homepage, as soon as you open Google Chrome, you're gonna hit that apps button and then go down here where it says web store. You wanna make sure it's the web store and not the regular store. So if you click on it, it has all these extensions that you can add to your browser. These are things that are automatically attached to your internet and they can be easily accessible for you. So a couple of things that I have on mine, I have Grammarly. I don't know if you guys have seen the ads for Grammarly on TV, but it edits your papers, kind of like spell check in Word, but it's on the browser. So if you're typing something in your browser, even when you're typing the address bar, it'll spell check for you or spell correct for you and tell you like, hey, you're spelling this wrong. I have this one up here. This is a screen capture automatically on the web browser. I have one that you can draw on here. So if I see something on the internet and I want to jot a note down real quick, I can hit that real quick. I have emojis because it's very necessary. And this one's actually my favorite one. I taught my students this one the other day. It's called Read Aloud. And if you download it on your extension, I'm going to download it on all these computers. Hopefully I can do this. But when you go to a normal website, you would hit play and it reads everything to the kids on that website. So it'll read what it's called. Like if you pull up a story on there, they can hit play and it'll read everything. You can go to the settings, you can change the speed, you can change it to a British lady if you want to. It's really fun. So I taught them this the other day and we're gonna start reading some stories, some poetry and stuff online. So that's what Google Extensions is. Like I said, if you go to the Chrome store, that's where you're going to be able to find it. This would be one of the first things that I would look at if you've never done it before, because it's really interesting. There's so many that you can do. It goes on forever.
And does it give you like a little synopsis of what each thing is?
Yeah, and when you click on it, you can go ahead and read the synopsis before you download it. It's kind of like downloading an app. It'll tell you exactly what it is, and it just downloads right up there. I also have a couple shopping ones on there too, which are also necessary. So then when you go to Google, like I said, I have my apps.
You're running Google Chrome on that other one, right?
This is the Google Chrome homepage right here.
Okay.
Yes. And then when you hit Chrome, you go down to Web Store.
Okay.
Down here. Google Drive is the #1 place that I would go for anything because you can actually access Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, and anything through the Drive. Here's some of my before weight loss pictures. I'm glad you all got to see that. Let's see.
I have a question about what you're just doing, because like
Yeah.
when I go onto Google, it always goes to my home one first because I have a Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way you can make it go on the other one first? I tried and,
I can come and help you change that.
okay.
Yes. So here is what my Google Drive looks like. These are all my projects through Fort Hays. Anything that I've created automatically goes to the Drive. And there's the Ryan Gosling picture I sent you guys the other day. So this is all automatically on here. I know that we've usually dealt with the H drive and the T drive in the past. The really cool thing about this is that I don't have to be at school to access this. So what I do is I usually do once a week or every 2 weeks. I have a folder that's called 2018, 2019 on my desktop, and I put any information in that folder, and at the end of the week, I always drag it into Drive, so that if my computer crashes, or if I need information at home, I don't have to have my school computer. It's automatically in Drive. So if you have access to the internet, you can get your information on there, which is the best part about it. Another thing you need to know about Drive is that everything automatically saves. So if you're typing something, or you're adding something, you never have to hit save. It's always going to automatically save for you. So if you forget, like I said, your computer crashes, it's already there for you. That's my favorite feature. Caitlin, that will be your favorite feature.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I do things like in Word or Excel,
Uh-huh.
And I drag it over to Drive.
Yes.
Does it automatically put it into Google format?
No, it doesn't. It will be in a Word format, and then you can download it as a Word format. It has to originally be Word though. So if it's Word, you can download it. Like, if I click on assignment of mine in the past, what I can do is, this is on Google Docs. I can download it as a Word document. So I can convert it. I can always download it as whatever I want to download it as, which is really cool. You can convert everything. So, let me go back to Drive.
What was the name of the spell check?
Grammarly is that one. Yeah. So anytime you want to add anything, I like I said, I like to do it in Drive because it automatically saves in Drive. When you click on the new button right here, here are the apps that I recommended that you use. Like I said, Google Docs is like Microsoft Word, Google Sheets is like Microsoft Excel, and Google Slides is like PowerPoint. So the presentation that I'm showing you guys is actually through Google Slides. So when you click on those, it looks just like a Word document. One thing, if you haven't ever used it before, I would recommend you go and look at all the different features on it because it doesn't look like there's very much, but there's actually a lot of add-ons. If you click this add-ons button, you can add a whole bunch of extra stuff on there. So I would just recommend you exploring with it a little bit. Some of the really good features of this that I like better than Microsoft is, like I said, it automatically saves. It shows you your revision history, so you can go and you can actually see all of the changes you've made in the past. And if you've made changes a long time ago and you're like, I want to go back to that original format, you can go back to your revision history, and you can share it. So if I hit the share button over here, right now, it's saved only to me, but I can enter anybody's email address in here. So if I wanted to share it with Katie, I'm going to type Katie's email address, I'm going to send it to her, and she's going to get it right now. And what she can do is her and I can be editing this document at the exact same time, which is so cool because it gives us access to each other's work. We can change each other's work. So, I mean, I just think that that's a really big benefit for collaboration. We've started doing this, I know, in PLCs where we can edit our documents on PLCs. The other ones are, I'll just show you quickly what they look like. Google Sheets looks exactly like Excel. I've started putting all my student data in here. Nancy's not in here, Nancy is somebody who, she has a couple of my students, and so I plug all my students' test scores and I just automatically share her their unit test scores. So this is a place where I plugged it in. Like I said, it automatically saves, so it's there for you. And then Google Slides looks exactly like PowerPoint. So this is where you would do a PowerPoint presentation, and it saves the same. Like I said, there's so many other different types of apps that you can look at.
So, Danny, you have PowerPoints and you wanted to put them into Google Drive, so you just pull them over?
Yep.
How do you do that?
So you would pull it, you would open up your Drive. Anytime you want to pull anything over, you would pull it to Drive, and then you would download it as a slides instead of downloading it as a PowerPoint. So you just convert it.
Opposite way.
So I'm not
How do you get it from your
uploading.
computer to the
You're uploading it, you originally did it as a PowerPoint. Yeah, you drag it into your Drive, and then you can open it with slides instead of opening it with
I
PowerPoint.
guess I'll have to see it.
Yeah, I can show you how to do that.
And then you can edit it.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, because we're trying to get our news
Uh-huh.
stuff. It's on PowerPoint.
You want to put it on slides? I can open it up. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of other apps that I would recommend you trying. I would just say the number one thing that has been a benefit of Google to me was having everything online. And I know the internet can be shoddy sometimes, it doesn't always work, but if I have stuff saved online, I don't have to do it here. I don't have to do it at home necessarily. I can do it at the library without even having to look up stuff or have my work computer with me. There's finances, there's blogs, there's Google Classroom, there's, which I don't think we can use Google Valley. There's Google Earth, which I know a lot of you have used before. Anything, Google Plus, I actually use, which is a really cool one. This is not it. Google Plus is how I communicate with all of my colleagues through my master's program. So Google has just expanded so much. So, couple more notes. Make sure that you get a Google Chrome. That's the first step of doing anything. If you're thinking, I want to start with Google, get Google Chrome first. It's your web browser. It's like Firefox or Safari. There's a lot of formatting options in Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets, and Google Forms, which I just showed you. I would take a bit to explore all your options before starting to get to work and those additional add-ons if you want to add anything onto it. Another thing, when you make a document, say Jill would share a document with me, and I want to recreate her document. One important thing is to make a copy of it. So you'll go to File, Make a Copy before editing it, because if it's in Google, if I'm editing Jill's document, I'm taking away Jill's work. I'm not making my own. So you always want to make sure you make a copy and you don't want to delete anybody else's work. Revisions are automatically saved, and you can review the revision history. Like I said, everything's automatically on there. So if you're searching for a save button, you're like, I can't find it, it's because it's already saved for you. Drive folders. Google Drive is where I have all my stuff saved. You can change all your folders, you can organize them, you can color coordinate them, you can share folders, you can keep them for yourself. It's all interchangeable. There's Google Help for everything. So if you go into Google and you type in Google Help, if you want a tutorial of how to do something, if something I told you today doesn't make any sense, Google Help has literally an infamous amount of information for you. You can also take online courses like I did, and you can become a Google ambassador if that's something you're interested in, so that you become more familiar with Google. And
What's a Google ambassador?
so a Google ambassador, basically I took courses through every single app that there was on Google. And Google sends me information that not everybody has access to. I have to kind of spread the word about Google as well. That's kind of the way you're basically working for Google without getting paid for Google, but you get the benefits of the behind the scenes stuff too, which is really cool. And you get the title of Google ambassador because I think it sounds pretty cool. Our Blue Valley email addresses are automatically Google email addresses. I know it doesn't have the Gmail at the end, but a lot of times if you get onto one of your websites, it'll say sign